have a ripple effect on the water, that kind of ripple effect on his body. When he, for example, the ripple effect is here, he grabbed his arm and suddenly that jumped into another arm and started to have ripple effect. That was a jinn inside his body. Jinns, ghost, another world, interacting with the human beings, how real they are and how scary they are. Today's story is very interesting, and on the same time there is a message in this story. These jinns, these ghosts, they are for real.
كيف تاكلي هون وكيف بتعملي؟ أعوذ بالله.
Someone who can connect to the dead.
Talk to me.
Shut it. I let you in.
So stick with me. This is gonna be a very interesting story. Welcome to another episode on the Shocking Mystery on the Mirror. I'm your host, Shaykh Yasir Qadhi. Human being is actually always want to explore the unseen. That is why we always try to find out what is hidden. The psyche of the human being, he wants to explore those corners and want to see what is behind the wall, which is unseen. These jinns, they exist. Our world is full of mysteries, and we are so much blessed as a human being that God has given us the power of knowledge. There is a wall that our eye cannot see the unseen, which is, I believe, this is the most blessed thing God has gifted us, that our eye, human eye, cannot see the unseen. There are so many reasons. Now, as you know, Allah has created jinns from the smokeless fire, and Allah sent them on this earth before human being. They started to do the bloodshed. The reason is they are created with a fire, and smokeless fire actually. So their nature is always to rise, to become aggressive. If we learn about these ghosts or jinns, you can find so many books written by so many authors. There are so many kinds of the jinns, but I would talk about just few which are mentioned in the Holy Book, and because we are the believers and we will follow those routes. Other than the book of knowledge from the Quran and the Sunnah, we don't know. At least I cannot say I know, I don't know. I would say only which I have seen with my own eyes in the books. I can only talk about those things. Now remember, Prophet Solomon, the Christians viewers or the Muslims or the Jews viewers, they will all agree the Prophet Solomon is one of the messenger of God who was given the kingdom that no other man got that kind of kingdom, and after him nobody will get that kind of kingdom. He had a control over jinns, over animals, over air, over everything, almost everything except death. Now there was one jinn. I'm talking about the time, then we will come back to the story, which will give you the goosebumps and will let you know how horrifying the world of jinn is. Do not get close. Nowadays people, by seeing the horror movies, by watching those horror movies, they are based on so many factors which are so much true actually. People, they use the Ouija boards and other methods to contact with the unseen. These are the portals. Ouija boards or those kind of things, they are the portals. Once you open it, then once you invite them in your life, then you will realize when the damage has already been done. So it is better to have the knowledge about something before practically you go into those corners. Let me give you one example and then we come back to the story. At the time when Prophet Solomon, he wanted to have the throne of the queen, and he asked, who can bring that throne to me? Now there's a miles away, that throne. And then there was a jinn whose name was Ifrit. Surah Naml, God has mentioned about this jinn. This Ifrit, one of the most powerful jinns by the hierarchy, he is the most powerful. He said, I can bring, when you stand up from your seat and then you sit down, and I can bring along here. How fast it could be and how powerful it could be. And then there was a man. He had a book of knowledge, and he said, while you can blink your eyes and I can bring up here. Now this, I'm telling you the power of knowledge. And as Prophet Solomon, he blinked his eyes and the throne was there. And throne is not just like one small stage. It was a very huge, a big stage. And then miles away. And I'm telling you, we are living in a mysterious world, is full of wonders, and we are the best of the best creatures. And so we should stay in control, we should attain knowledge, we should learn the knowledge what God has sent to us. So the wisdom is always superior than the physical powers. Now this sheikh, he is telling his story of his earlier stage when he was studying. He was in the Madina University, and this was his first exorcism, or you can say ruqya. In Islam we call it ruqya, or in English you can say exorcism. He is telling his first ever exorcism experience. Now, even though you have a lot of knowledge but you don't have an experience, then it is still very scary. You need to have somebody who is qualified, who carries so much experience, and then you can sit beside him and then you can learn from his experience, and you should have that knowledge as well in your head, so the learning process could be very fast. He is telling that he was in the university and there was one newly converted 18 years old boy who just converted 2 months ago and came to, somehow he got into the university and he started to learn the knowledge of hadith and all these. He even didn't know how to perform salah, how to perform prayer. So one day his roommate, he was reciting the Quran, and suddenly his friend, who was a newly convert and he was also in the same room, he started to have making very weird growling voices, the noises, and he got scared. And they knew that this sheikh was also in the university, so they had a connection with them. You know, when you are learning something, special knowledge, or you have a special knowledge, or you have a special abilities, qualities, and obviously you will have some more friends, you will have some fans or friends, they want to attach with you, they also want to learn from you, or at least they will show, hey, look, I have a connection with this person who is very super cool. Now they called him and they said that, we have this newly convert, when I'm reciting the Quran, and then he started to make very scary voices, and we believe he is possessed by the jinns. And then they started to recite more Quran and make him aggressive. Now at that time, this sheikh said, okay, I was studying there, and I have already studied a lot of books and I have knowledge, but I didn't do any exorcism yet. So I took this courage and I said, okay, I'm coming, and I will deal with this matter. Now he came to the room and he started to recite the Quranic verses, and then he says, I saw his body was start to have a kind of ripple effect, and then even he made it sound like brrr, something is vibrating like a ripple, you throw a stone and then have a ripple effect on the water. That kind of ripple effect on his body. When he, for example, the ripple effect is here, he grabbed his arm and suddenly that jumped into another arm and started to have ripple effect. That was a jinn inside his body. So he's tried to control him, but it was so scary by his words, and he got in panic, but he continued reciting the Quran. So he was in a very weird situation, and he said that we had a chance to have a lunch together. Now this newly convert was also with us on the lunch table, and then he was sitting on a chair, and then we asked him, join us, brother. And then he said, no, I'm not hungry. He looked very much upset, like starving, and he looking at the food. And then these 3-4 brothers, they started to eat, and one of the brother, while he was eating, one of the morsel just dropped down, the luqma, the bite dropped down on the floor. And then this boy, 18 years old boy, he says, just like a snake or just like a lizard, just grab with very fast with the left arm, with the left hand, grab that one and then put that bite in the mouth and then swallowed it. And that was very unnatural. He was the jinn. As Holy Prophet said in one of the hadith, he explains that when you are eating your food, first of all say Bismillah, and then you start to eat food. And if accidentally you drop any bite or morsel on the ground, you pick it up and clean up, and then you eat it. Don't leave it for the shaitan, don't leave it for the devil. So when he saw this, because that brother, he forgot to say Bismillah, and he was seeing him, he is observing, and he was starving. Now on another occasion, they knew that he is possessed with the jinn, because the first experience they were reciting the Quranic verses, and then he was in panic. Now again, when they were performing this ruqya or exorcism, he was reciting the Quranic verses, and then he was in panic, and he said to him, okay, leave this boy, otherwise I'm gonna call my teacher here. And he got scared, and he said, no, don't bring him here. And he said, okay, I don't bring him, or I will bring Sheikh Spring. That how he explains. I mean, he gives an example. Okay, any other sheikh. So he started to laugh. Okay, you can bring him, and there's no, I can deal with it. And then again, he said he got this idea, and he said he wanted to test this boy, because remember, this boy is 18 years old, has no any knowledge of Islam, about Quran and about Hadith. He's in the earlier stage to learn about Islam. He said, okay, leave this boy, otherwise I'm gonna call Sheikh Ibn Uthami. And when he heard this, and he held it for a second, and he looked at him, actually that sheikh that he was calling his name, he passed away a few months ago. Now this jinn, he is mocking at him, and he's saying, are you gonna bring him back from the dead? And then he was shocked when he listened, and he realized he is dealing with another world. He is not a human, and he is a jinn. The purpose of this story, jinns, they are real, they are very powerful. Of different kinds of jinns. One is ifrit, that I talked in the earlier before starting the story. They are on the top hierarchy of the jinns. They are known by the tribes, they are known by the nations, they are known by the groups, just like human beings. Now ifrit is one of the very powerful, and after that there is one more jinn who are the more dangerous. They are those, they come, stay, and they go away. Some of the jinns, they are the shapeshifter. They come as a snake, and the dogs, they are also looking for the food. Another type of the jinns, they travel in the air, they fly with the speed of light. Some of them they are very fast, there are some of them they are very slow, some of them they are very powerful, they have less power, but they fly. These jinns, they never interact with the humans. They have their own world. And then there are some, they stay among the humans, live with the humans, stay, possess, they disturb human beings, and then they also interact with the humans. And these are the Shayateen Jinns. They have only one purpose: to distract them, to astray the humans, to give them damages. This is very important to have. At least we should have a basic knowledge about the jinns, protect ourselves. So that is why we are taught in many ways. When you go to bed, you should have ablution, read Ayatul Kursi, and then special du'as which are taught by a holy prophet, and then go to the bed. These Quranic verses will protect you from these shayateen or jinns. They will not cross that boundaries, and there is a layer of protection. God sent the angels, they will guard you to save you from these evil entities. So this was the story for today, and if you are the fan of the dark, mysterious, crime, true crimes, horror stories, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you have your own story, you can share with me on my Instagram, which is uzair.sipra. And as always, please take care of yourself and your surroundings. I'm your host Uzair Sipra. Until next time.